Ni siku ya clinic ya mfuko, my friend. Reception tumeweka bench kama kawaida na tumesanitize. We are back to sanitizing everything. And we are ready for you. We began this series a couple of weeks ago. We are talking about chamas and just trying to understand how chamas function and how you can have a thriving chama. Chamas are very common in this country. And, back in the day, chamas were associated with women. Women would say every Saturday afternoon, nimeenda chama. But even men have gotten with the program, and we have quite a number of chamas that have thrived and are changing people's lives. Today, we want to talk about group dynamics of a chama. I get to hang out with the CEO of Legacy Wealth, Edwin Maina. How are you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
I'm alive and kicking. Don't ask me what I'm kicking. I'm just kicking some things.
Yeah, with the weather.
Do you belong to any chama?
Yes, I do.
Oh, really?
Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
And we've come a long way.
Mm-hmm.
We started as a group of gentlemen we used to work with,
Mm-hmm.
and we'd pull money and hand it over to one person.
Merry-go-round.
Merry-go-round.
Yes.
Right? But I think the location was not, the location where we used to have the meetings was not conducive for development.
Kwani mlikuwa mnakutana wapi?
We'd meet on a Friday at a pub. So the person, we're about 8 guys who were contributing about 4,000 per person.
Yes.
So at least one person would get about 32,000. And you can imagine this is 2013, thereabouts.
That's some good money.
Yes.
Yes.
At a pub, Kwanza, that's a lot of money.
Kila mtu apewe.
Exactly. Chafua meza.
Oh my goodness.
Unfortunately, you utatoka vile uliingia tu. Without the money that you've received.
Are you for real?
Yes.
Umeiwacha huko?
Umeiwacha huko yote. But we've learned along the way, and what we've done is we've slowly put structures around it. We're contributing much more now. We're doing much more beneficial stuff.
Yeah.
But we've learned along the way. Right.
That's good. So you're the right person to talk to us. Because I was just thinking about this, and even having experienced it, because I've been part of several chamas here and there.
Yeah.
Working as a group is not as easy as it looks.
No, it's not.
Because you come in, even though you may have the same vision, but you come in with different personalities. And everybody has an idea, and everybody has a thought. I don't know if your group went through that season. What are some of the things that came out, and how did you deal with them?
Well, and that's basically the beauty about chamas.
Yeah.
Is we all bring different personalities, we all bring different ideas. Right? But if you're willing to sit down and give each and every single member a listening ear and vet the ideas before you can jump into them, I think you can make progress.
Okay.
Right? But if you're just blocked to any idea that comes,
Dictator.
as a dictator, or you're not willing to listen to the next person, you might miss out on a lot of opportunities out there, right? But if you have a listening ear, and you're all open to critique, you're all open to critique and gathering as much information as you can, you end up making more informed decisions or steps into the investments.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Okay. But before we began, you were telling me a story, and I think this is an aspect of group dynamics that sometimes many of us fail to capitalize on. Even the Bible says 1 will chase 1,000, 2 will put 10,000 to flight. Something happens when you come together as a group. The dynamics change.
Yes.
It's almost like you have an advantage.
You do.
Yeah. So back to the story you were telling me about. What were you telling me about?
Yeah, so funny thing about this story is they're called the Roadia Boys. And these guys, according to an article by Bitangen Demo, these guys control about 20% of the GDP
of this country.
The country's GDP.
Wow.
If I don't have the figures wrong, they have about 40% of the NSE. They control about 40% of the NSE. And these were just boys who walked from their village to Nairobi, started selling vegetables from Marikiti to the Asian families, and slowly they pulled back the funds that they had. Actually, they would take back whatever proceeds they had, they would take them back home and give them to an elder for safekeeping.
Oh.
Remember, there were no banks for black people then, right? And whenever they needed to expand, or one of them needed to grow their businesses, one would go back home and pick from those savings and come and expand, right? So they would pull these funds. Time came and they pulled these funds and they started buying buildings in downtown Nairobi. Of course, as the Asians were trying to get out of town with the colonial times and everything, they took advantage of those opportunities. Right? But you see, that ability to pull funds gave them that ability to take advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah.
Right? Without pulling funds, I don't think they'd have done much.
No.
Right? And there would be 5 up to even 12 or even 20 guys pulling funds and just buying a single building. Right now, as we're talking, they own majority of downtown Nairobi.
Yeah.
And of course, what I said before, the amount of money that they control. I think there's only one of them who's left who's about 100 years old or more. It's called Gerald Kikonyo. The people who have followed in their footsteps are the likes of James Mwangi, Peter Monga, all those guys. Yeah. So, and they all began through that ability to be able to pool funds together. So there's a lot that you can do as a group.
Okay. I'm just thinking one of the obstacles that you have to cross as a group is that trust. Because you're putting your resources together. And sometimes I've seen groups break because of suspicion, because of lack of trust. I don't know if your group ever went through that kind of phase, and I'm wondering, how do you foster trust in a Chama so that you are able to work together with one vision?
That's a tricky question, and how to navigate it. Basically, what we did for us is we never had a single person as a signatory to the account that we used to deposit money. So we'd have, because we were 8 members, we'd have about 3 signatories.
Okay.
And what that did is that whenever we needed money from that account, we had to sit down as a group and first off decide that we're going to take money from the account, and still these guys had to get authority from us, written authority from us, that you're now allowed to transfer funds from this account for this particular purpose to a particular account. So that's how we fostered the trust within ourselves, because we know shida ukuja.
Yeah.
And if you have one signatory, and maybe you're broke at that particular point, and you know your child needs formula or diapers that night.
Yes, utanunua.
Yes.
Yeah.
But those are the structures we put around the Chama to just basically ensure that we don't lose trust in each other. Yeah.
Even on the just the basic Chama, the whole merry-go-round thing.
Yes.
And one of the things I've seen is a struggle for sometimes for some Chamas is wale wanapokea kwanza. When their time comes for them to remove for others to get, people always have excuses.
True.
Yeah.
True.
So how do you manage that? Because I've seen people leave Chamas very bitter. I've seen people lose very good friendships simply because we began with a gentleman's agreement.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't have any structures, but it's just that, you know what? 4,000, we are 8. Somebody walks away with 32. 32,000 inaweza kusaidia
Sana.
So the first month we gave you.
Yes.
But now the third month it's my turn, my friend.
We were actually just having a conversation with your colleague.
Yes,
here,
yes.
And she highlighted that one of the guys has been giving excuses for quite a while.
For quite a while, yes.
Right? I believe that akizoea sana, it's time to just say, you know what, you're not good for this group. We don't hate you as a person, but your presence here perhaps is not helping us proceed or move in the direction that we'd like to move. Right? And once you do that, it's putting structures around the fact that if this happens, then we should have a right to take the following action. Like they're saying, like she was saying, from next month, that particular member will not be among the group. Because they've put the structures there to say, if you've not contributed for a certain amount of time, and the reasons you're giving are not justifiable, then we should be able to just tell you, it's okay, you can exit. Let the group continue in the path that we have set for them.
But what about the losses? How do you manage those losses?
You see, once you decide, and like I was saying, put the structures before, the structures that you all agree on. Right? And I'll give an example. In this Chama, one of the members, we had to exit about 2 guys.
Okay.
Funny enough, one of the members was my brother. Right? And because we had put the structures around non-contribution and the consequences of non-contribution, by the point we were telling them, okay, now it's time for you to exit, none of the members that were exited took that personally.
Okay, because it was agreed on.
It was agreed on before time, right? So we're just following due procedure. You're not able to contribute for a certain amount of time. We will exit you, and these are the consequences in terms of, are you going to lose your investment, or what percentage of your investment are you going to get back? So that at that particular point, it's you're washing hands. Hakuna, when you meet outside the room that you met at, you're still friends. Because it wasn't personal. It was the structures, the rules and regulations were agreed on before time. Again, like I said, these are not things you get from the get-go.
No,
You improve over time and continue strengthening the structures over time.
So for those people who may belong to a Chama and they don't have those structures, they need to put them in place. Because they will need those structures.
Those structures are what you fall back on when things are not going right. Like when a member has not contributed for a while, or when a member wants to exit, those structures that you put, the regulations, are what you can fall back on, that each and every member has agreed on before time. Okay.
How do you put a group together? Because there has to be a direction. There has to be a place where you're going. You know, and I'm just thinking about, how do you get a group together, and what's the role of the leader in dealing with all this group dynamics that may stem up, or challenges you may face? Like now for your group, who decided, let's get together, let's put 4,000 bob together and give it to one person? How did they convince the other people? Sometimes you can have an idea, this brilliant idea, but rallying people together is always an issue. It's always an issue. Sometimes you try to rally people together, somebody hijacks your idea and they want to be the leader. So there are all these dynamics that sometimes come in when you're bringing people together. In your head, it's perfect because you're assuming everybody will think like you're thinking. But now once you start putting feet to this thing, you realize, this guy has a different thought. This guy. So how do you rally people together, and what's the role of the leader where a Chama is concerned?
First off, you will be brought together by life circumstances. One, for us, it was, we were working in the same organization. We used to hang out together. For Friday afternoons, we'd go, and after work, we'd go and have a drink together. So that way, we were already friends at that particular point. Right? When it came to life itself, we were all around the same period in our lives. We were all trying to settle down, choose our mates and all that. And we're thinking this is the time for us to sort of start putting things together to better ourselves or to better our future. Right? So you're brought together by life circumstances that might be common among you. I had someone say that their Chama started because they met at a wedding committee.
Oh, okay.
Right? And they decided that, you know what, let's make something off of this. Right? We met through our work. So you have to have that common factor that brings you together.
Yeah.
Right? Because you just can't pick a stranger off the blues. Right? So with that now, it's coming to say, okay, we'd like to better ourselves. So what do we do about this? Right? And then you're saying you now come up with a contribution. A leader for us really was not. I feel like the goals we had were not driven by one person.
Okay.
But were driven by the whole
whole group.
Yes. And in terms of leadership, what we did is we'd pick a leader to run for 2 years.
Okay.
Right? So it's not a leader to run like Mugabe or something like that. No. It was a leader who would run for 2 years.
For 2 years.
And then their responsibility was to decide the times that we meet. And if they had new ideas from out there, then they would bring them, and also encourage people to bring in new ideas. Right? So the role of our leader was basically a facilitator.
Okay.
During that tenure, how far will you be able to push the group? Right? So after the 2 years, someone else picks up. So that it doesn't seem like a single person's responsibility, yes, to improve the Chama or not.
Yeah.
It becomes a collective responsibility. So your role is to steer the group in a particular direction for a short period of time, then you hand it over to the next
somebody
person.
else.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Group dynamics in Chamas is what we are talking about today. If you have any questions for us, 20316 is the SMS line, and the WhatsApp number is 0786316316. This morning, I'm hanging out with the CEO of Legacy Wealth, Edwin Maina, and I was just wondering, Edwin, because when we began, you talked about you belonged to a Chama. It was more of merry-go-round. At what point did you decide to make the change from just being a merry-go-round to being investment focused?
I think what happened is a year and a half down the line, we compared how much we had contributed through that period versus what we had actually accomplished. And
mulipigwa na butwa.
Yes, suffice to say, regardless of the fact that we still were the ones who spent that money, we were shocked that we'd done nothing. Right? So at that particular point is when we decided, you know what, this money that we contributed has to mean something, has to translate into something meaningful apart from just bigger bellies. Right? So what we did is we opened a savings account. We didn't care how much interest we were getting at that particular point. We just wanted a central place where the money was collected and we could see how much progress we're making. Right? So after that is when now we decided to just now channel the money to a certain account, regardless of where we were meeting for that month's session. The money was untouched; it would go directly
to the account.
Actually, what we did is we set standing orders against our baselines. Right, the money went directly to a certain account, and whatever we spent when we met was out of pocket. What that did is it allowed us to see how much money we were contributing, but also not overindulge on this particular day that we were meeting, probably in a pub or in a restaurant, because we were spending out of pocket.
You know, just putting money and you haven't decided what you're going to do with it also takes quite some discipline.
Yes.
Because issues do come up. I've been part of a Chama where we had begun that way, but then issues come up, and you decide, this one mazee lazima tusaidie. Tufanya hivi, let's remove like a 20K, we will return. And it's never returned, and eventually the trust just crumbles and the Chama dies. So for how long did you just put money into an account without having a clear direction of what we want to do with this money? And did you face any temptations to do something with that money that was not planned for?
You see, the good thing about liquidity for an individual or even for a group or a company is the fact that once it's there, then opportunities to invest come up. You start seeing these opportunities because now you have money in an account that's doing nothing or earning very little interest, but you start to look for opportunities because the money is there.
Okay.
Realize this: when you don't have money, you don't look for opportunities, right?
No.
Kama umesota, you're not looking for opportunities, or even when they come, you will not be able to spot them, right? But when liquidity is there, then you're able to look for, or you're more optimistic to find those opportunities and see them.
Okay.
The other thing is challenges also come up. Like you were saying, the emergencies also come up. What we did is we said, if someone has an emergency, they come and table it to the group.
Okay.
And if it's something we can contribute out of pocket, we will contribute out of pocket and not touch the money that's there. And for most of the time, that was the case.
Okay.
Right? We never touched the money or the funds that we had collected to sort someone else's emergency. We helped them out of pocket.
Okay.
Right? And then with time now, we started setting goals for what we wanted to do with the money. Remember, I said you will not get it right from the
onset. Yes.
But if you're willing to be graceful with yourselves and just allow yourselves to improve with time,
yes,
then you make a lot more progress.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So how do you decide what to invest in? Because these are different groups of people. I mean, different types of people, different backgrounds.
Yeah.
Did you seek a professional to come and guide you on where to put your money? Or did you just sit down as a group and come up with an idea and run with it?
One, it helped that a lot of us were finance professionals. Right? So we understood how most of these financial products work. Right? The other thing that really helped us was the fact that the organization we were working with, we dealt with a lot of clients who are in business.
Okay.
Right? So if one of our clients, say for example, my client came up with a business idea, or just interacting with them, an idea came up in your head, then you'd present it to the group, and then the group was allowed to critique, poke holes into the idea until we were all satisfied that this is where we'd like to invest
your money.
Right? So one, it was helpful that we were finance professionals. Two is we interacted with a lot of business people. And then at the end of the day also is deciding what we would want the money to do for us.
Before you even go there, I'm just curious.
Yes.
For that group that the people don't have a financial background like your group did,
Sure.
would you advise them before they invest to seek a professional's guidance? Because I've also been in a chama where we put money together. Tukasema tunaenda kupanda ngano, my friend. We went to Narok.
Yeah.
Remote control farmers.
Yes.
We lost everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we didn't seek any advice. It's just, this is what people are doing. This is how much they're making. Let's jump into it. So would you advise a chama that's seeking to go the investment way to seek professional guidance? Because sometimes we think professionals are expensive. You mnakuwa expensive, son.
Well, professionals are expensive. And if you want a good professional, you get one. Like, for example, if you want to go to a doctor, you will definitely spend to go to that doctor if you know they're the best and they have a solution to what you're ailing. Right? The challenge is with other professions, we don't take the same mindset.
Very true.
Right? But I would say that seeking professional help is important for a chama, and especially a professional who will help you begin from the goal-setting point. Not just explain how different investments or financial products work. A professional who will ask you, what are you looking to do with the money that you collect?
Okay.
Or from these investments, what do you intend to do with the money? Because with that, then you'll be able, actually, your goals will determine the kind of investments you make, right? The challenge with just looking at investments or business opportunities like the kupanda ngano
Yes.
is, and I remember a quote that my father-in-law actually said, is whatever business opportunity you're looking at, it's very lucrative for you who's never, any business opportunity is lucrative for you who's never done it, because all the math is in your head.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The most lucrative, actually, this is what he said, the most lucrative business is one that you've never done. Because all the math is in your head.
Yes.
And I'm sure that's what everyone goes through.
I'm telling you, we already millionaires in here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you see, tutapanda ngano 10 acres or 20 acres, and this is the amount of money we will get through. Right? At the end of it, you have no experience.
None.
And nothing. You've just put your money in there.
Ata yo shambo jayona.
At a shambo jayona.
Yes.
You're just making phone calls.
Yes.
Right? So, one, seek a professional who will be able to guide you from the goal setting point and also guide you as to what investments you can make given the goals that you have.
I like that, because I think that also will help diffuse a lot of speculations and runaway ideas that every other member will have.
Yes.
Because now we are agreeing, we are novices in this area. Hatujui kitu.
Yes.
Let us listen to Bona Edwin and what he has to say, because he does this every day.
Yeah.
So it gives you a focal point as well.
Yes.
Where ideas and what to do is concerned.
Yeah, true, true. So, for us, like I said, we were finance professionals, right? And we tried as much as possible not to invest for the short term, because we had salaries, right?
Okay.
So for us, the investment was not so that it can provide us income in a year. No, it was 10 years down the line, what would we like to see? Right?
Okay.
And if you know the time horizon that you're working with, then you can be able to pick the investments that you can be involved in even better.
Yeah.
So that you're not rushing to get an income in a short period, yet your target is 10 years from today, right? And even if you make a profit in the middle, you know that you're looking at 10 years.
Yeah.
So whatever profit you make can be reinvested into the initiatives you have. Yeah. So knowing your goals and the timelines will help you determine the type of investments that you can
That you
make.
keep.
Yeah.
There's something you said earlier, talking about how does this benefit me?
Yes.
You know, because for some people they may think, 10 years, my friend, will I even be here? How do you keep that motivation? Because I can actually see the benefit. You know, merry-go-round mtu ngojea tani yake.
Yes.
That's the motivation.
Yes.
I know if I don't remove my contribution this month and I'm the one receiving next month, sitapata.
Yeah.
So the motivation is my month is coming, I'll receive it.
Yeah.
And usually a merry-go-round doesn't have many people, so you don't have to wait for like 5 years. You know, in the next 5 months or 3 months, I'll have my money, and this is what I'm going to do with it. So when you have a group of people and maybe you're thinking investment, how do you keep that momentum going?
I'm reminded of a quote that I read somewhere, which goes this way. We overestimate what we can do in a year,
Yes.
but underestimate what we can do in 10. Right? It helped that we could see other people who were not doing so well maybe 5 or 6 years ago, but in that time they've managed to change their lives and understand that nothing is done overnight.
Yeah.
Right? So if you give yourself a longer timeline, let me give you a hilarious example. So when I started working out, I went to the gym thinking that I'll get a six-pack in a year's time. Yes, no. Mtu kijana wa miraba minne. Right? It never happened in that year. and speaking to the different gym trainers, you would gather from them the fact that it's not something they just woke up and did in a short time and got to where they were.
Yes.
Right? It's something. Spoke to one guy who was saying, by the time he was getting his ideal body, he'd worked out for 6 years.
Ooh-wee.
But we don't want to look at the 6 years. We
Yes.
want a six-pack now.
Now.
Right? Similarly to building wealth.
Okay.
Nothing can be done. Well, you can make progress in a year, but significant progress that's going to last long term is always the best. Think of the likes of Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos. If you think of where they were when they started, a year down the line, they don't make much progress. But right now, we're talking about them.
Yeah.
Right? Might have taken 20 years or something like that. But what you can do in 10 years is much, much more than people think. Right? So I would advise people to stop looking at just what you can get next month, but have a longer term view of what your Chama can help you build. Because you want to change your life. No, you just don't want to change your day.
I like
Right?
that. Yeah.
You want to change your life and elevate your life, not just change how you feel on a certain day because you've received 32,000 shillings. And then after that, you have nothing to show for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever have any group members drop out, or any who joined in between? And how do you deal with that?
We never had someone who joined in between, but we had a group member who dropped off.
Okay.
Actually, when was it? Last year. Last year, beginning of last year is when that member dropped out. And what happened is they came to us and they told us why they would like to drop out. And according to the constitution that we had written down, there were consequences to that dropout. They would lose a certain percentage of their investment, and that was it. And because those structures were agreed on before, right now, we're still good friends with that person. He actually comes to some of our meetings still, right?
Does he regret dropping out?
Well, the door is still open for him to join.
Okay.
But what we've decided, or rather what had been decided before, was if you decide to join in and you had liquidated your investment, you will be required to...
Lazima ujaze.
Lazima ujaze.
Wow.
Right? Lazima ujaze, so that you're at par with the same...
everybody else.
With everybody else. If you don't, then you're given a certain period to get to a certain point. Right? What that means is every month your contribution is going to be higher than the rest of the individuals, so that you can get to the same level. Your share in the company or the investment group grows as you try and catch up with the rest of the people. Yeah.
Okay. You know, obviously there's a lot that people can do. There's a lot more people can do when they come together as opposed to trying to do it alone.
Yeah.
And I keep wondering why is it that a lot of people don't see it, especially where finances are concerned. You know, we can come together and do other things.
Yeah.
You know, being in the financial space, what are some of the excuses or some of the reasons you have seen people giving as why me and you and so cannot come together and just do something? Mbona hatupendi hiyo story?
There's a book I'd like to suggest to everyone, The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. And he says, we think money is just a numbers game.
It's not.
It's not. It's very much a psychological and a behavioral game. The decisions we make about money are not logical. They're very emotionally driven.
Yeah.
Right? And if you put in emotions in there, trust me, it becomes a powder keg. And that's why people cannot, it's not as easy as just saying, we are 5 of us here, let's do this, and we proceed.
Yeah.
Everyone comes with their own insecurities, their own emotions around money. So when you're giving someone, we might be giving you 32,000.
Yes.
Right? For you, you're thinking, I'm going to put this to something. But to another person, they're thinking maybe, huyu tumempatia pesa mingi sana.
Yeah.
Right?
32.
Yes. Huyu tumempatia pesa mingi sana. And how many months do I take before I get my 32,000?
Yes.
So there are a lot of emotions that come with money, right? And once we acknowledge that those emotions are there and stop just looking at it as logic, we'll be able to make more informed decisions about money, right? And establishing first the goals, because the goals are what becomes sort of your radar or your guardrails.
Yes, yeah.
Right? We have personalities that come in, a lot of things. But we think just because we're discussing money, the numbers, and you will see whatever logic I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
There's a 10% return expected here. So you should see how this makes sense. But it comes with a lot of other emotions and psychological issues. Right? And because of that, like I said, it's important to set the guardrails, to set the goals and the parameters around which you guys as a group will interact among yourselves and with the money that you contribute.
Okay.
Yes.
Because also sometimes friendships or familiarity, I've also seen that kill groups and chamas.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Especially family groups. Why do you think family groups have a lot more challenges?
Emotions. Emotions and psychology. It's the same thing. Right? And family groups are even more complicated because it comes with a lot of baggage from you know that dynamic of this cousin does not talk to this other cousin because the parents said a lot of other things.
Yeah.
So those emotions are what complicate even family groups even further. Yeah.
Okay. Parting shot as we finish. I have 2 more minutes.
Parting shot would be, there's a lot more that you can do as a group than individually.
Yeah.
So once you realize that, what was that Swahili saying? Kidole kimoja hakivunji
chawa.
Yes.
Yes.
Once you realize that you're stronger as a group, and you set the goals and set guardrails around your chama, then you can be able to move further, not just faster. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Asante sana kukuja. By the way, so what are you guys investing in? Nakutuambia.
We have a bit of real estate. We have a bit of investment in mutual funds and all that for long-term purposes, because what we're targeting really for us is a nest egg for retirement. We have businesses, yes, we have our own work schedules and all that. But what we're targeting is retirement and sort of like leaving a better legacy for our kids, leaving them at a better position or setting them up for success than we were set up ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. Edwin, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you
this
for having
morning,
me.
and thank you for your wisdom. Bado mnakutana kwa ba?
The restaurant. Bad restaurant.
Mwambie mchungaji amesema atakuja the next meeting.
But we've grown over time.
That's good.
Yes.
That's good. Thank you for sharing from your story and giving us some wisdom. I'm out of time. Clinic inafungwa. Daktari anaenda kuhudumia wagonjwa wengine. Kuna wagonjwa wengine. There are some groups that need more help. So he has to go sort them out. Thank you for being a part of the discussion this morning. I hope it has helped you. Groups can do more than individuals. Family dynamics tuweke kando. Tuweke constitution hapo na tuweke goals. We can do so much more together. Until next week, have a good day.
Thank you for watching. Remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can get notified whenever we upload new fresh content every day. Stay tuned and enjoy fresh, uplifting content.